Okay, now we're going in depth into this design here of the basic wasp's head. We have a picture that we're using as inspiration for the wasp's head, and as you can see, we're just moving these antennas into place and we're putting them on different layers. So yeah, really what we're doing is we're just putting the layers on top of one another here, rearranging them. The wasp, although it looks menacing, we're not even going to go even close to that because we want friendly. And what I've done there is you just, of course, copy and paste, flip it over, and then just do the same. I could have grouped them out and did them both separately, but you know, I like the freehand and the hands-on stuff and just kind of going one by one. And if you're able to single out the layers, then the more better, because then this way you can put more control over them, their color and the way they look and their properties. And now matching up the colors with the eyedropper tool to get sort of that antenna look, because the antenna of the actual wasp, it kind of looks like dots. This is a concept design, and within a concept design you'll have maybe many different other concept designs to pass off before you can finalize a logo, or a logo that's going into mass production in printing. And you know, this video here is just sort of highlighting the steps in real time that I've taken to get from one idea sort of to a final concept based on what the client would want. And we're going for a more friendly, non-menacing look for our fictitious bug spray company. And it is a rebranding, a fresh new approach to the business. Now the line and getting the line there, I'm just separating because it looks like what would be a beak or some pinchers, and you can tell that I go through many concepts in different styles before I hit on one that I kind of like. So you're probably wondering, oh, why does he keep going back and forth, and why does he keep changing this, and why does he keep changing that? Because I'm trying to highlight the creative process actually from start to finish, and this is doing it on the fly. So I haven't designed this stuff before. I'm simply doing it on the fly and trying to build on concepts that I can work with. And some of the nicest things I've created have just been simply by mistake and just experimenting around in Illustrator or whatever software programs that I enjoy using. Fireworks in particular, and of course that's a theme I go back to often, is the fireworks environment. But Illustrator, yeah, that's definitely the way to go with a lot of things you want to do. A lot of details, a lot of power involved in this software program, and you can tell right off the bat when you're actually running the software. I have a high-end computer, but you can still tell the power it's using on resources. uh, all sorts of things can be done. I've worked on blueprints for people and provided graphics and blueprints and everything. And when you're basing things on points, uh, those are, you can go way down in points for a line point. So like a 0.5 as opposed to only being able to work with a 1. You can even go down smaller, 0.25, 0.05, minuscule. And then obviously when you're printing, you can print those out at any size because you're not restricted. So if you want to blow something up the size of a bulletin board, then Illustrator is the right place to do that. And the perfect printing platform for all your artistic needs. See, our wasp is coming along, kind of, we've got our shape path there going on to maybe cut out his beak, I guess you would call it. And then, just going with that. Now, the business approach people can take to things like graphic design. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways you can go. And there's a lot of different places you can find resources to learn how to work in environments like Illustrator and Photoshop. But I've always found the best way is to just open it up and start clicking and finding out what things do and how to create different things by using as many tools as you can. And that way you can get a really good solid head start on first a healthy portfolio. And you want a lot of your best creatives contained in the portfolio. You want yourself highlighted, all your information, all your social media. Get that online, get it out to the masses, start doing things with it, and then taking it from there. There's all sorts of job platforms available to obtain work. And in the end, it is your work that speaks for itself. And if you're able to design and be extremely creative and produce what people want, then yeah, you can have a really really good job, a really good future in design. Just keep at it. As far as hardcore education goes, well, I guess the more education, the better. The more certifications, the better. The more experience, the better. But in the end, it's what you're able to produce and get it out to the right people and land the right contracts. Then that establishes solid business. Right here, we've got. I'm just grouping all the objects, naming everything. It looks like I have something that I'm willing to explore as far as a mascot wasp's face that I'll be putting into the company rebranding here. There's our little leaf. I have the two artboards. I just split it up so I could use one artboard to focus on the wasp's head and the other side to focus on the text. And from this point we can resize it, you add effects. Now we're going to be doing placement, and placement is based on layers. So there I go finding the proper layer to place it, which I'd like the wasp's head, well, out front, and you're going to be testing different aspects, different ways, moving everything around. This particular design with the head, we're containing this into 15 minutes. And I'm just kind of winging it off the top of my head. So you will inevitably spend hours perfecting all sorts of different concepts. And then you can expect even more time editing ones that people like until it's perfect. Okay, I'm going to throw a few quizzes in the mix here to give you a refresher. How many artboards did I use to create what I was creating in this whole thing? A3, B1, C2? Well, the answer was 2. I did all the text on one artboard and the leaf, and then I did the wasp's head on the other artboard. And as far as I know, you can pretty much create as many artboards as you want, or you can just create one. It's up to you, and it's always good for printing too, because you can print off individual artboards. So you have media on different types of artboards, and there you go. Okay, we're just realigning all the text and making it kind of arch down into the wasp, kind of like how the antennas are going, and just a little bit of curvature around the face, kind of liking where that W is stuck in between its beak there. So that's probably a keeper. But just playing around with the text, you know, getting a good fit for where you want things to go. Because we've got all sorts of elements to add within the next few minutes. But here another quiz. What is the tool used for crop? What is the tool most used? Crop, pen, or line? Well, it's the pen tool. And we kind of know that because that's all I'm sort of using. We discussed this before. The pen tool is the drawing tool. So if we're drawing, then that's what we're going to use. And we can also use shapes and everything else to throw into our designs. And some effects. Quite possibly some effects coming up here. There's a 3D effect that is kind of nifty, but if you use that effect, it makes it really not your design anymore. It's just kind of a computer program that actually made your design three-dimensional, and it kind of looks fakeish. But all sorts of different effects to use or add, play around with it. Okay, now staying current with trends is going to help you create unique designs, and being on the internet and watching television, magazines are all a good way to see how other people and other designers are creating their media, and working off others' inspiration and what they create helps us in a way, because if we like the way certain things look, we tend to be inspired by it, and it shows in our work. with this, I've kind of always just been freehand. I like to create all my elements, I guess. In this case, that little piece of eco-friendly text is maybe the only thing that's not 100% original. Which is fine. That eco-friendly really has nothing to do with the overall design. It's just kind of proving a point of the rebranding. Now the three-dimensional effect, you can see, kind of takes that into a whole other level. One that I was just playing around with. I kind of like just highlight things like that, but it's not a level I want to go. It definitely makes it not your work. And we're going to continue on in the last section of this cube next, and that's going to be covering the product placement. Plus, we'll see how this turns out.